I've had people ask about the issues of the competitive nature of it. You're fighting against someone, whether it's on the gridiron, on football, or even in a boxing ring. As long as we recognize that there's parameters to this, there's rules about it, it's not free for all. It seems to parallel the virtues that we see in the rest of the Bible as something good and something profitable and something that shares in the common grace of God. Thanks for joining us for more Bible Answers. We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
Welcome back to Bible Answers with Pastor Mike, and we've got a question coming to us based on a Christian's involvement in sports. Can a Christian be involved in sports because it's so competitive? I guess because of maybe the idolatry that could be involved in it. Is it okay for a Christian to be involved in sports?
Well, that's a good question because I had that asked recently to me, not on camera, but the idea of, someone's winning, someone's losing, you're beating someone, sometimes physically, depending on the sport, boxing, whatever, wrestling, whatever it might be. And my answer to that is the idea of sports. I couldn't categorize sports as unbiblical because of the way they're positively used as an illustration of the Christian life. Prostitution is never used as a positive illustration of the Christian life, right? So, you know that it's set before us as something in the world that has some parallels to the Christian life that become helpful to illustrate the Christian life. And, Paul's talking about buffeting his body, making it his slave. He doesn't want to be disqualified, running so as to win. I'm going to win the prize. So the ambitious nature of the Christian life is reflected in the illustration in sports. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that because, it would be condemned if there were something wrong with it. So, winners and losers, that's part of the issue, And today it seems like most parents think, well, everyone should be a winner. Johnny gets a participation trophy. Some of the younger sports, we don't want anybody winning. We don't keep score. We don't want to make Johnny feel bad because he lost. Yeah, I'm not in favor of that at all. I think winning and losing is a part of life. It's a part of biblical life. It's a part of spiritual life. It's the ultimate part of eternal life, heaven and hell, right? There's winners and losers. And so I think to teach that through athletics to our younger children and to recognize that sports is something that's held up as a positive example to the Christian life, I think leads me to say that there's nothing inherently sinful about it.
Well, what about the person who would take it to making it an idol? They're there every weekend. They devote all their free time to it. All their extra money goes to it.
Right.
What do we say to a person like that?
Yeah, but that could be true of sewing.
That's true.
Or needlepoint, So anything can become idolatrous. And even if I've had people ask about the issues of the competitive nature of it, you're fighting against someone, whether it's on the gridiron, on football, or even in a boxing ring. And all of these competitive sports have a set of rules that you play by, right? And even that shows that there's a kind of agreed upon arena in which this happens. And so, I think you could make an argument, I suppose, and we're out of the realm of the Bible at this point, in terms of things that are probably not maybe the healthiest forms of competition, because they permanently damage people. And that's not good because we're, made in the image of God, and we should give some respect to our bodies and not destroy them in any athletic competition. But as a whole, I think as long as we recognize that there's parameters to this, there's rules about it, it's not free for all. It seems to parallel the virtues that we see in the rest of the Bible as something good and something profitable and something that shares in the common grace of God.
It can be a great teaching tool is what it sounds like.
Of course, and it's good. Generally speaking, it's good, but every good thing in the world can be used in a bad way. And that's where, I think maybe the person who wrote in, that's their concern, is it becomes so easily for some people idolatrous. I've told my story. I was involved in music and musical performance, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that. It's very biblical. I mean, it's much more biblical and virtuous in the Bible than athletics. Right. And yet, for me, it became too much. It became so much a focus that it was hard to see God in all of that, and I had to distance myself from that at one point. So, sewing, needlepoint, soccer, football, basketball, music. It could be anything that we have to guard our hearts against idolatry.
Right. It's not a monkish thing. We're just following Paul there. Flee idolatry, 1 Corinthians 10. So we're fleeing the idolatry. Whatever it happens to be, we're going to guard against it. And then we're going to use the rest of it to glorify God.
Right.
Great.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for the question, and we'd love to help you out with any other ones that you have. Please send them to us at askpastormike@compasschurch.org, and we'd love to help you out.